Hey guys, I got a fun little project we are going to do today. It's too hot to really work on the forge today, and I haven't done any carving in a long time because I've been too busy making carving tools. And I thought today it's gonna just be like 90 some degrees today. I'm not standing in front of the forge today. So today I thought we'd do a little carving. I had recently cut some firewood and had gotten a chance to save a couple pieces. I already split it, and I should have split it with you guys, but that's okay. But anyways, I got a couple pieces of apple, and this piece has knots and stuff in it, but that's fine. And then I got the other half of the piece of apple, so I got two of them. What I was thinking about was making a couple small ladles out of this stuff, just for fun. I don't know if they'll end up in my Etsy shop, or maybe they'll end up Christmas presents, or maybe my wife will like one and steal it. I don't know, but that's going to be the project for today. And the first thing I did was split that thing, and I used just a couple axes, which we're going to use today to do all the rough work. The first axe I use is just a plain Jane, cheap hardware store council tool axe, but it's been resharpened by me, and it's just razor sharp. And so that's the first tool we're going to use. I've kind of used this axe because you could do all the carving with this axe very easily. I mean, it's got a nice thin bit, the whole 9 yards. But I kind of use this axe because I just wanted to show that a common man could buy this axe. I think I bought this axe at a discount store. For some reason, they were clearancing them, and I paid like $11 for this axe. They had like 4 of them. I should have bought them all, because now that I've been using this, I actually wouldn't mind have had one and cut the handle down and used it for a carving axe. But it is what it is, and so I ended up with one, and I absolutely love it. I may pick up another one down the road, but I'm gonna get one of the newer ones where they did away with the steel wedges and went with the wood wedges, and I don't think they paint them anymore either, which is cool because I really don't care for the paint anyway. But anyways, so first axe, just small council tool axe. The next axe we use, it's a little more of a high-end axe, but still can be had fairly cheap. But you gotta look. This is an old Kemp pattern axe. The other axe we're going to use, this one is made by Braid's company. I want to say it's close to 2 pounds or so. I've never actually weighed it, but it feels good in your hand, and you can get a lot of carving done. So this is the other axe we're going to use to carve these out. And I may end up using a really small axe when I get to the real detail work, but we'll see. I may just try to do it all with this one. But anyways, so those are the axes we use. Of course, I used just a quickie little oak wedge to split that thing open, and it was relatively simple. I started the axe in the end, using a piece of wood to beat it into the end until I got enough of an opening to where I could put the wedge in, and I just put the wedge in, split it out a little bit, moved my axe, and just kind of walked the axe and the wedge down the piece until it was split where I wanted it. Other than that, that's it. And this is a throwaway wedge. Now it's kindling. Took me about 3 seconds to make, and it did what I wanted it to do. So we're just going to start roughing these things out, and we're going to use the axes to rough them out. We're going to use the axes to do as much of the work as we can, because number one, I enjoy the axe work, and number two, why use a knife when you can do it with an axe? It makes it so much easier and so much quicker. I'm going to get a pencil and sort of draw out some kind of a pattern that I want, and I'm not even sure what I want yet, so I'm going to have to kind of play around with that a little bit, and then we will go ahead and start roughing these out. Okay guys, I'm back. So basically I drew out my spoon on the piece. You probably can't see it because it didn't come out very brightly, but it goes around like so, and down through the handle, and basically I just took off a bunch of stock. I didn't show you guys that part, but that's all I basically did, was just take off a bunch of stock. And then we're going to go across this back, because right now it's really thick. We're going to go across this back, take some of the stock out of here. Basically I want this thing to sit, kind of hard to stay in the camera, I want it to sit sort of like this. So we're going to end up taking a bunch of stock out of here along this bottom side, so that it sort of sits up like this a little bit. And then of course our dipper part will go into here. They're not going to be very deep. They're going to be really weird grained, which is kind of cool, which is fine with me actually. And I'm not going to go off any pattern or nothing. We're just going to eyeball this, and whatever we come up with, we come up with. And we're just going to have fun at it. So I'm going to chop a little bit, and then so you guys can just kind of watch. Obviously I'm not going to make you guys sit through all this, but I'm going to do a little bit of this. And then we'll go over the tools that we're going to use for the rest of this. When I'm doing this, I hardly ever move the axe. I'm always turning the piece. It seems to work better for me that way. And I will try to get this all done as much as I can with the axe, because I really it makes it easier in the long run. And we will start to round this off, the axe at the same time. Keep working at it for a little while until we get something that looks like it's going to be a ladle. Let me get back with you in a few minutes. Okay, I think I'm going to get the knife out and do a little bit of knife work on this. I'm going to use a knife to work around this knot rather than the axe. And anyways, it's kind of roughed out and sort of looks like a ladle. It's going to be a little on the crooked side because that's kind of the way the grain's going. I just want to kind of leave it that way. But it is what it is. It'll look kind of cool when it's done. Okay guys, I thought that before we even started with the rest of the spoon, I'd go over some of the carving tools that I'm going to use for mine. And almost all my carving tools I make myself, and of course I sell them on my website. Little note there, anything you see on this video other than the axes you can buy on my website. Got to put that in there. I'm trying to make a living off this. But anyways, I always end up wrapping my tools with a piece of leather. It works good for me. But anyways, so I got a variety of spoon carving knives. I got this one with a longer handle. This is kind of one of the first versions of a spoon carving knife I made, and I kind of made this for myself. I don't sell this to the public, and the reason being is because this knife is so thin this way that eventually it's going to fail on me. But at least I say that. But I've been using this thing for I don't know how many years now, and it still hasn't failed. So maybe it never will fail on me. But it's being that it's so narrow, and needs sharpened too. It's been in storage for a while. I haven't used it. It's being so narrow that it works real good for getting down into something and stuff. But the version that I do sell on my website that I'll also be using today is this, and this is the newer version, and it cuts just as well, not quite as good as this thinner one, but just as well. But you can see it's got a very robust blade on it. It's super rounded off, and it is it's a really aggressive knife. It'll take you a little bit to get used to these because they're so aggressive. They always want to really dig in and take big chunks, and you got to kind of learn to use them lightly to take the little cuts with them. Once you get the hang of them, though, I love them. That's kind of why I make them, but I just love them once you get the hang of them. So we'll be using those two. Those are the two bigger carving knives that I use, and then I have a really small one. It's just it's my 1-inch carving knife that you could buy on my website, and I'll be using it. This one was actually a mess up, and I actually made it a little too thin too, and I just turned it into one of my knives. It's not that big a deal. I was trying to do something else with this, and ended up not being exactly the way I wanted it for my website, so I ended up re-profiling it and stuff and set it up for me. But anyways, yeah, this is just another small one. And like I said, I sell this almost exact same one on my website. It's just a little bit more robust, and actually the hook's a little smaller on it, but it's basically the same knife. It'll do all the same stuff. So anyways, that's what I'll be using for hook knives. I am going to use a couple of my gouges that I have for the bowl too, here and there, just to use them. All these tools have been in storage for a while, and I haven't used any of them. They're all razor sharp, and like I said, these are all available on my website too. Right now I currently sell 3 different sizes: 3/4 inch, 1 inch, and then a big 1 3/8 one, which I won't be using today, but it's more for bowls and bigger stuff like that. I am going to use my plum handled piece of plum that I harvested from my place, Sloyd style knife, and it's only got like about a 2-inch blade on it, maybe not even 2 inches, but that's the knife I'll be using to do all the carving with. It's nice, small. You can put your hand up on it and really get in there and really do some real detail work with it. It's my favorite knife. If I do any bigger work, I will use my bigger Mora knife, but between these two knives you can get a lot of work done. Between one of these knives you can get a lot of work done. And then last but least, I made use this just to do a little bit of planing, and this is one of my mockatoggans that I sell on my website. I got a couple different versions of this, but yeah, I'll be using this to do any nice rough planing cuts. Usually I work out the handles and stuff like that with the mockatogan. Seems to work pretty good for me. But anyways, I just wanted to go over what I was going to use for knife wise, and that is basically it. And a little side note, for everybody that does buy stuff off my website, I am working on an ads that I'm going to be selling on my website. It's going to be a real basic ads that I will put some handles on a couple of them, but I think I'm just going to basically sell the blades, and it's going to be sold as like a I don't know, haversack ads or pocket ads or something that you can actually take with you and either put together in the field or you know whatever you want to do. You can make a handle with it and carry it around, but basically it's going to be just a piece of high carbon steel flat stock, and it's going to get I'm gonna make two different ones. One's going to be a flat grind where you can just chisel out like a regular ads, and then one's going to be bowled out so you can do the inside of spoon bowls and bigger bowls and cookses and stuff like that. But those are going to be coming to my website pretty soon, and they're going to be reasonable. I'm going to try to I'll have to see what I got time wise and forging them up and putting them on there. But I think the blades themselves are going to be reasonable. If you want it handled, it's going to be a little more money because the handles are going to end up being hand carved handles. So you know, and it's going to be more primitive, kind of a primitive type ads. But yeah, that's coming soon. I've been wanting ads forever, and I thought I wanted to make something that I could kind of throw in my Etsy shop real quick, and I want something that works good too. And I wanted something that was packable. I wanted something I could put in my carving kit and not have to take a whole ads with me. So that's coming to my website soon, and my Etsy shop. So anyways, sorry I had to add that little note in there about the stores and stuff, but like I said, this is how I make my living. I got to put it in there sometimes. So anyways, let's get back to the carving. These mockatogans take a little getting used to, but once you get used to them, they make for a really nice tool. They're not really a spoon carving tool though. I don't consider them a spoon carving tool. They do other things much better. But for planing and stuff, yeah, they work good. I really like using them to work out necks and stuff on these tools, on these spoons though. at least for stock removal. And of course, you could turn them around and use them to do your regular whittling too. They are versatile. A little bit of a knot there. Kind of work your way through it. Might have to take a littler cut, but just kind of work your way through this stuff. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to work this out just a little bit more. This is still just roughing too. You gotta keep in mind. I got a long way to go before I get to finishing. This piece of apple's got lots of knots in it, but that's okay because I kind of want something with lots of different green. And I'm just kind of looking at it, trying to figure out exactly what I want to do as I go. Like I said, we're not going off any pattern or anything like that. A little crack in that knot. Hopefully it won't go all the way through the spoon. could do some of this with axe, but just like this. Okay, well anyways, let me go ahead and work on the bottom of this bowl, get it kind of set the way I want it, and then I'll get back with you. Every once in a while I catch myself doing something I shouldn't be doing, like in here like this. So, once in a while you'll see me move out to the edge because I realize I'm doing it. I guess sometimes I get too comfortable with what I'm doing, even though I know that I can't really go any further than this when I'm carving. But I suppose accidents do happen. I'm just kind of flipping this over and eyeballing it as I go. It may not be perfectly even when I'm done, but that's what it is when you eyeball everything. You're not going off a pattern. Sometimes you just go with the grain too. One thing nice about these Makatagas though, if I really wanted to carve the bowl out, I could just by giving this a little flicking motion. And you can get in there and really get in there and do that. But there are better tools for the job. That being said though, this would do the job. It just takes a little longer. Pretty versatile tool though for your toolkit. Okay, now we're starting to look like something. And if you're carving and it doesn't seem like it's making the nice cut the way you want it to, change directions, because chances are that's the only problem. It's not usually, I mean, you could have a dull tool, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times people don't change directions when they should, and they try to muscle it through and rip grain and everything else. And sometimes it's as easy as changing directions on your cut to remedy it. And I just kind of starting my way up here, and I just kind of work my way all the way around until I get basically where I want it. And obviously it's a little harder because of this knot. I may leave that knot stick out a little bit. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. It's not like it would hurt it. This is a ladle, so it don't have to be perfect. Having it stick out a little bit might give it a little character. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna kind of shape up the bottom of this bowl a little bit more and see where we're at. Okay guys, I'm tucked into the garage now because the thing's gotten hot. I've kind of went a little farther than I wanted to off camera. But anyways, just carving away. I'm just carving out this handle. I got the bowl mostly shaped the way I want to. There's still going to be some fine tuning to go with it, but it's going to be the ugliest spoon ever. But it is what it is. I kind of thought that this crook would be kind of cool, but now I would kind of wish it had either more crook or less crook, but it's kind of in between. So I guess it kind of is what it is. So really I'm just going to keep fine-tuning the handle a little bit. It's got a little crook in it. I'm trying to kind of straighten it out a little bit. It's just the way the grain of the wood is. If I can get it straight, that's fine. If it's a little crooked, that's fine too. But then I'm going to go ahead and just fine-tune this out, and then I'll work on the bowl itself. This is going to end up being a serving spoon, not really a ladle. So it is what it is. Okay guys, so I got the whole bottom of the bowl pretty much roughed out, and I went ahead and roughed down most of this handle. It's still going to get a little thinner. I started carving inside the spoon, and that's what I'm working on now. And really it's just a matter of just digging it out. I usually stay about an 1/8 inch away from the rim all the way around or so, maybe a little bit more, until I get it to where I want it, and then I start touching things up a little bit at a time, and you know, until you get where you want it. This is going to be a huge spoon. Like I said, it's going to be a big serving spoon, so the grain's going to be kind of cool in it. When it gets a little bit of oil on it, it'll look really nice. Let me go ahead and work on this for a bit, and we will see what it looks like.